Okay, I've put this before the video to give you a little before view of the Yamaha Chappy lb80 that I've been working on. This was back when I had it in June, and it was not under my ownership, just my possession for getting it running, finding out what was wrong and getting it running. And at the time it needed a stator. I think the old one was missing. Yes, that was it. So I just put my stator in from my other Chappy into this one. So you can kind of see the missing headlight, the rusty shocks. There's the missing turn signal. You can see the condition of the rims, chain guard, etc., etc. And probably some other, and the seat cover on the other side is especially rough. So anyhow, a little before shot so you can do a little compare and contrast. Well, why don't we do a quick walk around to show the current state of affairs with the Yamaha Chappy lb80. Ready? Begin. I ought to put that video of that other video from back in June before this. I think I'll do that. Ooh, don't hit the tree. Not bad, you know, not bad. It's still got things to do, etc., etc., but my wife liked it. She wanted it, as a matter of fact. I kind of like, yeah, things are looking good. We'll get there. We'll get there. Now it's time to ride. That's right, it's time to ride. And I guess the strong point of this Yamaha Chappy seems to be the engine, because once I finally got the carburetor cleaned out and the gas tank cleaned out, this thing rides real nice and strong. As a matter of fact, had real strong compression. I think 125 is what I measured it at, which I think is pretty good. I think I ended up upping it maybe a little bit. I haven't measured it since, and I may up it just a little bit more. So, as a matter of fact, of all the bikes I've had two that once I got them running, they had abnormally strong engines, at least for what you would have expected. There is an Orange Express that I had for like a day I got running that was just a complete rust bucket, and that thing had the strongest Express engine, and you would have never thought it. I mean, it was just a complete disaster. Basket case. It was the basket case Orange Express that a buddy of mine bought and rehabilitated a little bit and then sold. And then this one has a really strong engine. So, you know, surprise, surprise, right? And what is this camera doing? You know, it's adjusting the point of view way too soon. And with this GoPro 360, you can, you know, basically get any angle, but you know, you got to control it or whatever. And I thought I had done it right, but whatever. Anyhow, I'm gonna let you enjoy this, and I'll be back in a minute. You can hear this in full volume. Okay, about a second ago, you heard a little blip, and that's the only thing that's kind of worrying me on this bike is it almost felt like the rear tire rubbed for half a second. And I'm thinking there might be a wheel bearing issue, thanks to the help of Benjamin, the Kentucky Yankee. Spotted that for me, or at least helped me figure it out. And so I gotta look into that, I guess. I did not have a problem for the rest of the ride, and this video just covers about 9 minutes of about a 30-minute ride. But so one more thing to look into, right? It never ends, it just keeps on going. I wanted to take it through the speed radar sign just to compare my speedometer with the radar sign to see if it was reading right, because I feel that this speedometer is reading a little bit slow. When I took the speedometer apart to replace one of the studs, I did not oil the gears just because, or the gears in the speedometer, just because, well, I wasn't sure what to oil them with. And I blew out the speedometer because it looked like there was like a nest of spiders in there in the past or whatever, and I cleaned off the glass and crossed my fingers and hoped that it would work, which it does, but it seems to be a little sluggish and might be reading just a little bit low. So you might have seen there that 35 was my top speed. However, it felt like maybe 2 to 3 miles an hour faster than that. I guess I could put my GPS on it as well, but I had that little brief half-second vibration that kind of felt like a tire rub, and I decided to abandon that little speed run through the radar sign and kind of just took it easy for a while to figure out, or try to figure out what was going on, and was only able to do that afterwards. And I think maybe it's a wheel bearing thing. This had happened to me before on another ride where I had like 2 or 3 short bursts where it felt like the rear tire was rubbing, but the rear tire is not rubbing. It might just be momentarily catching, or locking up is probably a little strong, but who knows, because this thing probably hadn't been ridden for decades. So these are the type of problems that you'll get. Be forewarned. But other than that, I mean, this engine is a real strong runner. I've got a different sprocket, which I've probably mentioned a number of times, front sprocket that I'm going to throw on there and try to make this like a 40-mile-an-hour street cruiser. It'll hurt low end some, but the two-speed transmission will kind of help overcome that as well. And I think the new front sprocket's going to obviously, or maybe, change the speedometer as well to where it's not reading the true speed. But we shall see. Thanks to Jim for the Speedo, and actually still working on the original Speedo, trying to get that to work. I've got to pry off the needle and try some oiling again. I got to decide on the proper oil. And we're out of video. So hey, thanks for watching.